Hello, everybody. Welcome back to How Come. This episode was posted late for a few reasons, but oh my God, it's so worth it. It's a throwback. I'm interviewing George Resch, aka Tank Sinatra, the meme daddy. And this was my first recording after Nanny died. Which we'll talk about. We talk about both of our grandmothers. We talk about what his journey with sobriety has been, happiness, how he stays happy, a bunch of books that he recommends to stay happy. It's actually a very helpful episode for this current time. Also, there's a lot of points that I was listening and I was like, this is crazy. This could be applied to right now. There's a part of the episode, I think it's around 25 minutes in, where you're going to be like, oh my God, are they talking about the pandemic? And we're not, but it really sounds like it, and it kind of freaks me out. Also, there's sirens in the background because we're recording at Nanny's, and I'm like, there's people dying, and it sounds insensitive, but there probably were in her building. Our building is so old. I can't even imagine. Oh my God, I don't even want to go here, but my building is at such high risk. And my friend who's taking care of Grace right now, Chandler, I'm always like, don't leave, you're going to kill everyone. But she's been pretty good and on lockdown. There's also a spot around 37 minutes where it sounds like I'm asking for internet engagement. And I wasn't, but I am now. So this morning, one of the things I was bitching about was Technu, god of tech and hater of women, especially me, came back and ruined my external hard drive, had to get a new one, had to do this whole process over again. And I edited 8 videos and none of them got any engagement. And I'm just is the internet against me? And I was having a breakdown. Naturally, I've been making these little video clips because now we have video this season. We're on YouTube. Check it out. And on Instagram, on mine and the How Come one. And I made one of my favorite clips ever and it got no engagement. And so obviously I was complaining about it on my story. But a lot of people wrote me saying that my posts aren't showing up for them anymore. So I'm wondering, you guys can't hate me. You're still listening to this podcast. So sometimes I think that people hate me when they don't like stuff, but I'm thinking that maybe the algorithm has fucked with me. So if you would be so kind and you like me and you want to see the things that I'm posting and working really hard on, turn your notifications on for me and How Come. Cause then you can see all this, I think the clips that we put out are pretty good. And a lot of you who wrote me were like, oh no, we love those clips. I just haven't been seeing them. So turn your notifications on. And also, if you are on Team Verify Remy, a bunch of you have been just messaging me or posting on Instagram saying Verify Remy. I don't think that works. I really appreciate it. I don't think it works. But Robin, the intern, said that if we get enough fake accounts that pretend to be me, then it'll alert Instagram to verify me as a real person. So I don't know if you guys want to go through the hoops of doing that. I'm sure it's a lot of time, but if you have nothing going on and you want this thing to happen, by all means, I would appreciate it so much. And then maybe tag us in the accounts you make. Yeah. Just pretend to be me. Or I don't know. That's what she says. Fake accounts or fan accounts or whatever. I want to give a big shout out today to Helix Sleep. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz and they'll match you to a mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. Find your perfect mattress at helixsleep.com/howcome. Also, gotta thank Sweet Vibrations. Thanks to Sweet Vibrations for supporting How Come. Get 15% off all toys when you use promo code HowCome at sweetvibes.toys. All right, you guys, let's get into the episode. I think you're going to love this one. I do. I also, if you want to see an update, I called Tank the other day just to talk about, how life and parenting has been since the pandemic. So if you want to watch that, it's a 30-minute video and it's on patreon.com/howcome. Everything now on our Patreon is just $5. So if you pay $5 a month, you get access to every single thing we've ever posted. So I also, today, I was procrastinating on editing and I put the full unedited episode that I recorded, which has 15 minutes extra also on Patreon, and the video on Patreon before I released this episode today. So if you ever want early access to stuff, I will usually do that. If you're fiending, it's usually on Patreon first. So again, patreon.com/howcome. And yeah, this episode's amazing. You're going to love it. Let's get started.
How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz.
It just was popping for a second.
Oh, that might be.
So maybe just don't touch the tail of the cord.
Okay.
Cool.
I'll go back to my old hardcore days. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold it like a dick.
I held like somebody else. I'll hold it like this.
With two tiny fingers. Okay. Wow. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to How Come. Today, we have a very exciting guest. He refers to himself in his 90-second pitch as a New Yorker, married man, recovering alcoholic, bodybuilder, meme maker, spiritual person, author, father, trying to do his best. You guys give it up for Tank Sinatra.
Everybody,
AKA
calm down.
George Resch?
No.
Resch?
No. It's actually, I guess it would be the reverse.
What?
George Resch, a.k.a. Tank Sinatra.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Tank's not my real
Tank's
name.
not your real name. No.
But that's what people call me, and that's what I'm sticking
AKA
with.
is just known.
Also known as, you're right.
Yeah, it's like a
Okay.
different
Where did you get that 90-second pitch, by the way?
podcasts.
Oh, you did an amalgamation?
Yeah.
An amalgamation pitch. All right.
Yeah.
Good job.
Did you say it's on point?
It's pretty accurate. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
all those things are true.
Yeah. I mean, everybody knows you as like a meme god, first
Yeah.
and foremost.
Meme daddy.
Meme daddy. You also have Tank's Good News now, not
Yeah.
just Tank Sinatra,
Yeah,
which
Tank's-
is like,
That's my baby.
it's very interesting. I obviously, I always want to talk about sex on this podcast, but I
Yeah.
feel like last season we talked a lot about sex, but then also I was super depressed and I started talking about that. And people really related to it. I see that you relate by laughing at me now.
Oh, yeah.
No, but I know that you relate because
Well, it was just, sex can get boring. It's like talking about food. Like, it's a basic human
it's not
function.
even that I was bored. I wasn't bored. I'm always like excited by the topics.
You
but
mastered
like
it.
Yeah, I'm the master of my domain. No, I just like was going through some mental stuff and like, I don't know, some imbalance. And I was just super depressed. And I was talking about it, and people seem to relate to that a lot. And I feel like you've had a lot of bouts with
mental illness.
sadness. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
even want to say mental illness, but being comfortable being sad.
Yeah. I think of mental illness like the way I think of physical illness or physical
Yeah.
fitness. Like schizophrenia would be pancreatic cancer, and having a bad day would be like getting a cold. Like sometimes I'm not always mentally and spiritually fit.
Yeah.
I've had some pretty good moments in my life.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I try and take inspiration and lessons from anywhere, even places that I like previously shunned or looked away from. And one of the lines in the Our Father, which I grew up Catholic and then I wound up hating.
Our Father who art in heaven. I randomly know the Lord's Prayer, even though I'm Jewish. I went to a camp for 2 years where we said it every morning.
It's a good prayer.
Yeah.
It covers all the bases.
I like the part with the trespasses and the trespasses against us.
It's like LMNOP.
LMNOP.
Of religion.
Yeah, exactly.
My this was really sad but funny. My friend Mike died, and
Okay.
it was so sad. He died of a drug overdose. I had just gotten sober. We were sitting right behind his parents, and I was with my friend who, great guy, but just not like, doesn't know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And we were saying the Our Father at the beginning or the end or the middle or whatever of the Mass, and we get to that part, and I see him going, and I just started laughing right in the middle of the church.
That's so
I was like, bro,
funny.
you don't know it? Why would you do that and not just be
Just
quiet?
be quiet.
Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. He's like, are you calling a cat? What are you doing?
Come here.
So it says, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what that meant at all. I don't know what thy means. Like I thought, it was just confusing. So thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. When I think of heaven, I think of a place where you feel eternally connected to that thing that we all know exists, but everyone has a different name for it. Different religions have different names for it based on where you were born or whatever. But it's a thing that everyone is familiar with and everyone has experienced at one point in their life, whether you get it from looking at the stars or looking at the face of a baby or just something going right or a lesson or whatever.
Not atheists.
I know. Well,
Right?
we can talk about that if you want. Atheism is crazy to me.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like, well, I don't know what I am. I have a lot
Probably
of
an
theories.
agnostic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Which
I'm
is
just kind of
fine.
like, I don't know.
Which is what
and
most,
like,
even most Christians are, agnostic.
yeah.
But thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven means to me that if you can align your will with God's will, even for a moment while you're alive here on earth, you get a glimpse of heaven. And I've had many moments in my life where I felt like I was doing the right thing for the right reason at the right time with the right people. And you just feel like
This was meant to be.
in it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
feel
yeah, yeah.
perfectly content with everything happening
Totally.
in the world and in your life.
Yeah.
When they come together, it's like, it's beautiful. So that's, I don't remember what we were talking about. Oh, the feeling bad.
Yeah.
So I've had bouts of, where I literally thought I was going to kill myself or kill my whole family.
Yeah, and you're like, nothing's worth anything.
Yeah.
Everything sucks. Everything would be better if I weren't here.
Yeah. But not even, my suicidal ideation came in the form of intrusive thoughts, which I don't know if we may have talked about when you did my podcast.
Probably. I'm talking about them constantly.
Yeah. They're just unwelcome thoughts that
Yeah.
for some reason your anxiety decides to take a little more seriously than they would normally. And they're not to be taken seriously. Me going out on that balcony and saying, what if I can't stop myself from jumping?
Yeah.
Or what if I want to throw Remy over the edge of this thing?
Yeah.
It's not a real thought.
Sure.
It's just I've seen too
Is
many
it?
movies. No, it's not. I've seen too many movies and read too many newspapers and watched too many murder documentaries on Netflix to take any of my thoughts
And
seriously.
do them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just it's input becoming output.
Yeah.
Just the way it works.
Not that I know anything about the Bible, but I did hear at one point that Jesus thought thinking a thing was just as guilty as doing the thing. It's like in the way of cheating, it was always talked about that it was like, if you even think about it, like you did it. And then I'd be like, yeah. And then I'd get so mad at myself in relationships. I'm not even a fucking Christian, but I'd be like, if somebody's ideology is that even thinking it
Yeah.
is doing it,
Yeah.
then I'm like, oh, I feel so fucking guilty.
No.
But I feel like fantasies and thinking stuff and being creative or whatever you're doing in your brain is kind of healthy
Yeah.
and an outlet.
Yeah. Yeah. Your brain is not to be taken seriously. Your thoughts are not to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Especially when they're mean to you.
Yes.
My thoughts are so mean to me sometimes.
I saw something so good the other day. Did you see that thing on Twitter where some girl was like, let's create a thread for people who have like the best advice you've gotten from your therapist?
No.
Leave it in the comments so
Yeah.
that people can get free therapy,
Cool.
basically.
I love that.
And there was a lot of good ones, but the one that stuck out to me and stuck with me was somebody's therapist told them that your anxiety is not intuition.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
could have used that 20 years ago.
Yeah.
15,
Oh my
10,
God.
5 years ago.
Well, I mean,
Yesterday.
even now, like when the mic goes in and out, I'm like, is this God telling me that we shouldn't do this episode right now? But anyway, ooh, fuck. What's happening?
How pop?
How pop? Like so much. This is a very exciting special episode anyway to
After
begin
school
with.
special. Why?
Because this is the first episode recorded after Nan's passing.
Are you going to cry?
Which is crazy. I'm not going to cry.
I bet I could get you to cry. I'm going to talk about my grandma.
Oh my God. Why would you do that? I feel like I've been doing so well. I feel like her and I said I loved her that morning.
Yeah.
We really tied up our odds and ends, I think. But it's exciting because she never let me have guys over here. We had to record with boys at Charlotte's apartment, which was like so annoying.
Yeah.
And had such an echo. And now I'm thrilled to have you here
Stifled.
trying to make me cry.
So quiet. Is this your first major loss?
No. What do you mean major?
It's up to you to decide that.
No,
No, it sounds like no.
I mean, my grandfather died, her husband, but no, I wasn't very close with him. I was majorly close with her, and I lived with her.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, I don't think most people live in a house where somebody died until a lot later in life.
Yeah.
Like usually it's like a spouse or like your direct parent that you're taking care of.
Yeah. Have people asked you if you were close with your grandma when you tell them that she died?
Most people know we were close.
That's one of my least favorite, most infuriating questions that people ask when somebody
Really?
dies.
Yeah.
Were you close?
Yeah. How much does it hurt?
Yeah. I'm trying to gauge how
much do I
bad
have to
should feel
be there for you?
Fuck you. you.
How many posts of yours do I have to like?
Yeah, they're trying to like gauge
woman.
how bad you're allowed to feel about it.
Right.
I wouldn't have mentioned it if it wasn't a deal of some sort.
Yeah. No, people have been being a lot more sensitive to me than I've even needed, which is really nice. And I think because of that like initial outpour, I was like, okay, because I was like, wow, not only did she touch my life, but she's touched everybody who's ever listened to this podcast life. You know, this podcast wouldn't exist if it weren't for her house and letting me do this here. And I talked about her every episode, and like, she would love knowing that her memory is so strong.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that helped me heal, and also knowing that she was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Physically.
Well, and anytime somebody hears another human talk about a good familial relationship, I think it could have one of two effects. One, it could make somebody feel bad that they don't have that, but I think for most people it inspires them to try and be closer to the family that they still have.
That's the whole reason that death exists, besides that you finally get a rest.
That's what I think.
But it's for other people to kind of be like, oh, I haven't been, we had a lot of fights occurring in our family.
Yeah.
Fuck.
You think it's Nan's spirit?
She's just like, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah. She's probably giggling.
Yeah. She's like, he's huge.
That's a big boy.
He's huge. I said no boys, and then you brought the biggest
a double
one.
boy?
Yeah. Yeah, so no, there were a lot of fights going on in the family, and I think like it resolved a lot of them. Like people were peaceful and nice.
You have to be.
Yeah, it was good. Tell me about your grandma, because I know you're influenced by a lot of the women in your family.
There's just a lot of women in my family.
Yeah.
I have 2 sisters. My mom. I had all female cousins growing up for the most part. It's weird because my family tree, or whatever you want to call it, I had an intuition that I was going to have a son because my mom, my aunt had 2 girls. My other aunt has 3 girls. My mom has 2 girls and 1 boy, and my uncle has 3 boys.
Okay.
So my 2 sisters all have all girls, and I was just like, it's math. Like I'm probably gonna have a boy when I have a son, when I have a child.
Yeah.
And I just knew I was gonna have a son. So it was really my grandmother, I think, that had my mom had a very positive effect on me, but my grandma really made me feel special.
Really?
Yeah, she like really let me know that she loved me, and she was just, when my grandmother died, the thing that got me, my mom was like, the sun rose and set on you, and grandma always said that. And I was just like, like the fact that somebody felt that way about you, and now they're not around, doesn't take away how they felt. But you just wish you would have like soaked up a little bit more of that.
I do. I really do. I didn't realize how special I was to her until everything started pouring in, and like a lot of people were like, oh, it was very clear how much she loved you.
Yeah.
And like, I
like
just
you were her favorite.
take it for granted. I don't think, but
and it's okay.
I don't think I was her favorite. I just think we were soulmates. That's what she called me from day one.
Yeah.
We liked the same thing. We loved to lay in bed. She even did a mattress ad with me about how we love to lay in our mattress. We do everything from bed, and we love to just snack and gossip and like yenta. And you know what? I'm just going to play it right now because Helix happens to be sponsoring this episode. Oh my God, this is so cute that we're doing an episode about Nanny.
Yeah.
And her ad is going to get to be played. Okay, here it goes.
Hi, this is Nanny. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do today with Remy.
I think we're going to do the same thing we do every day. Rest in bed, listen to music, and watch TV.
Great. We love to watch TV.
And we like to do it all from the comfort of our beds.
Soulmates, definitely.
Soulmates, definitely. I like your bed, but I love my bed because it's the new Helix sleep mattress.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's the best mattress in the world. It's so comfy.
Good. Would you allow somebody else to sleep in there?
What, you?
No. A visitor?
I mean, Ben's there all the time.
Well, I'm not talking about Ben.
Who are you talking about?
Talking if somebody comes to visit.
Like a friend? Yeah, of course. Everybody sleeps in my bed.
Okay.
Do you think we make good roommates?
We make the best roommates.
And why is that?
Because we like to take it easy.
We like to rest.
We like to rest.
And we do everything in our bed, right, Nanny? We hang out, we gossip. So if you guys want your own Helix Sleep mattress, go to helixsleep.com/howcome. They're offering $125 off of their any orders right now. So go to helixsleep.com/howcome and you can get your mattress right away. And thank you for being here, Nanny.
Companions, I have you on board.
Love you.
I love you too, sweetheart.
Oh, what an ad. What a doll. I miss her so much. And I also miss my Helix Sleep mattress. That offer that I mentioned, it's gotten even better, actually. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders at helixsleep.com/howcome. You guys, I know we've already talked about the mattress a good amount, but I love my Helix Sleep mattress. And even though I'm separated from mine, that does not stop me from trying to get you to get the best sleep of your life, especially right now. You've got a lot on your brain. Life is stressful right now. Sleep is tough. Let's make it easier for you. Treat yourself kindly right now. I know a lot of you are sleeping on some old bad mattresses and you deserve much better than that. So let's give you an upgrade. Yes. Helix Sleep, as I've said before, they have a quiz that takes just 2 minutes to complete and it matches your body type and sleep preference to the perfect mattress for you. You don't need to take my word for it. Helix was awarded the #1 best overall mattress pick of 2009 and 2020 by GQ and Wired magazine. I was matched with the Helix Sleep Midnight because I'm fancy, and I'm curious if a bunch of you have been too. Let me know if we are sleeping twins, but I love it. I sleep better on it than I do in this house, but if I think back to my sleeps at home, I fall asleep right away. I'm more rested. Ben loves it. He misses it too. The Chandler, my friend who's cat sitting, she's obsessed with it. She's having the best sleeps of her life during this really crazy time. So that's just wild. So if you want your own mattress, and you do, and you should, or you want to get one for a loved one, super easy. They come in a box. It is the most amazing thing. Just go to helixsleep.com/howcome, take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. They have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you will. Right now, Helix is offering up to $200 off, as I said, all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/howcome. That is helixsleep.com/howcome for up to $200 off. Yeah, that old ad is old, and they're being even nicer to our companions now. So helixsleep.com/howcome, HEILIX. You're going to love it. I also want to talk about our other sponsor this episode. I feel like I couldn't get through with this quarantine without this sponsor, without the toy that they have afforded me. I think you guys know who I'm talking about. Sweet Vibrations. I love you so much. If you've never heard about Sweet Vibrations before, get ready. Sweet Vibrations is an adult boutique that delivers innovative lifestyle products. They embrace the taboo of sexual wellness instead of hiding it. We have teamed up with Sweet Vibrations again, and they are offering 15% off all toys when you use promo code HOWCOME at sweetvibes.toys. Sweet Vibrations believes masturbation is an essential part of one's sexual being. Duh. And so do I. And so do we. Having a great relationship with all of your parts is the perfect way to maintain a positive attitude and healthy body image. And as I've said before, it boosts your immune system. So get down with your bad self. I'm obsessed with the girl's best friend who has come with me all the way to Portland, Oregon. It is a 2-in-1 vibrator and oral stimulator with 20 unique sucks and vibrates, simulating realistic oral pleasure. I know I usually talk about the fact that like you can use it as a vibrator and put it in and do the clitoral suction thing. And usually I say like, I just like the hardest, like most like setting, like that usually does it for me. But I've been experimenting with these patterns and they are so much fun. And it kind of like makes you feel like there's like a person with you, even if there's already another person. It's like when it like, you know what I mean? Like it's like, you're choking on my clit. I love it. So they have other toys that are amazing. The Pixie, the Perfect Match, the Tulips. I always talk about the Perfect Match, how it gave me my first internal orgasm. I know they have a new toy coming out soon, and I can't wait to try it. But if you want your first Sweet Vibrations toy, or maybe you want to add to your collection, we had somebody write in this week saying she had her first squirting orgasm with the girl's best friend. So if you want one of those, or if you want one of the other toys, go to sweetvibes.toys and use promo code HowCome for 15% off. That is 15% off all toys at sweetvibes.toys, promo code HowCome. All right, back to the episode. I was saying to my therapist today, I booked the appointment even though I've been doing fine.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to take the scariness out of therapy. So I go when I'm doing fine now, so that it's not like, oh, I only go when I need to be fixed.
Crisis mode.
Right.
Yeah.
So I went and I was talking to her, and I said something about how magnanimous she was and how dazzling and like charming, and she goes, "Oh, I think that's where you get it from." And I was like, "Huh. I never thought about the good things that I got from people in my family. I've always just thought about, oh, this is where my depression came from.
Yeah.
This is where my anxiety came from. This is where my judgmentalness comes from." But it wasn't until like I was just sitting and thinking, I was like, wow.
Well, you guys probably charmed each other.
Gifts. Yeah. Yeah. We also like to charm people. Like if my dad got me a tutor or if he got her like a trainer, like we would charm them into like just chilling with us. I'd be like, no, I'm not doing math anymore. Let's talk. I'll tell you a few jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about your family.
Charm is a good thing to have. Not a lot of people have it.
You have it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know that.
My grandmother told me every day.
No, I think when people like, I don't know what charm is. Charisma. The words are so close. They might as well be the same thing.
Yeah.
I just call it charisma.
Charisma.
Charizard.
When you finally evolve into the Pokemon of your dreams.
That was after my time.
Oh,
Pokemon.
sorry.
No, it's okay. My son is into him now. I have to catch up. I'm
but
caught
he's the new generation. It's just like total cash grab.
He is. I don't know. Having kids, for me, having children helped me in a lot of ways because like when you sponsor somebody in recovery, like alcohol, drug addiction, whatever, it's very hard to tell somebody to do something that you're not doing yourself.
Totally.
So with my son, I think a lot of parents, a child will have a temper tantrum, and then the parent will essentially have a temper tantrum right back at them.
Right.
And it's like, what do you think is going to happen here? Yeah. It's like that meme about the dog, like the tweet about the dog barking, and then you start yelling at it, and now the dog is like, yeah, we're barking together.
Yeah.
Like they don't like they can't discern between.
Totally.
They're just emulating you.
What you're doing.
So I've learned that I have to be very calm and even not in just my words and my mannerisms, but my energy. Be the change
you hope to see in your child.
Gandhi. Yeah. Literally. You have to, and you can't just, it's like Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer. The dog just knows.
Yeah.
You can pretend, but the energy comes through.
My mom used to say, do as I say, not as I do.
Oh, I hate that.
And I'd be like, shut the fuck up. Put your money where your mouth is, Mom. Like, do what you say.
Yeah.
Do what you say.
Yeah, everybody, parents want their kids to be better than them at life, I think. Mainly so that
take my good qualities, leave the bad ones. I'm like, how am I possibly supposed to do that?
Yeah, it's impossible. It's really more about the parent. The parent makes it about them. They're like, I can't stand the pain of watching you be imperfect, so you have to be perfect so I don't struggle. Yeah. It's like, that's fucking
not
weird.
Fair.
No, that's immature.
Yeah.
But you have, people not by and large, but I don't know. It's amazing how little self-awareness is out there for people, especially in family relationships.
Yeah. Were you ever somebody's because I know you got, how old were you when you got sober?
22.
22.
Yeah.
So that's like enough time between having a kid. And that was the first time that you hadn't ever been somebody's sponsor before?
No, I've sponsored people.
You've sponsored people?
Yeah.
But having a kid was the first time that you were like, oh, I have to like...
No, it's just a way for people to understand it, or a way for me to understand it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I know that I applied everything I learned about life.
Yeah.
I learned in recovery. Like I knew nothing. I was also very young.
Yeah.
I was
22 is young.
Yeah. If I see somebody come in now that's 22, I'm like, man, you're young.
Yeah.
If I see somebody come in that's 30, I'm like, you're young.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But I'm 39.
Well, because it's not even just like you're young to be doing the drugs or drinking or whatever. It's just you're young to have hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it happened. It came pretty quick.
How did that
It rushed up on me.
for you?
I just didn't care about anything.
Yeah.
I just wanted to. So drinking alcoholically is a way for you to just temporarily kill yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to like deal with the actual being dead part, but you are not there. You're not functioning. I was a blackout drinker. I was out driving, walking, talking, engaging with people, and I don't remember any of it.
Just to numb.
Yeah, to just be oblivious. Not in a cute sense, like, oh, this person's oblivious. Like, literally just be gone.
Yeah.
Something in my brain just disconnected, and I was not who I am.
Yeah. I mean, it's half because it's not half. I don't know what halves it could be, but it's partly because alcoholism runs in your blood.
Yeah.
But do you think it was also stemming from something you were trying to like escape from?
Yeah, myself.
Yourself.
Just hated myself. I could not be myself, even for an instant.
Yeah.
And be comfortable.
Yeah. You said something on a podcast that I found really interesting. It was about being young and how self-loathing comes about.
Oh, yeah.
And you said that being self-centered is like one of the themes of being a child. You have to be self-centered to be a child.
It's just what they are.
That's what they are. And then when trauma intersects with being self-centered, then that's where self-loathing comes from.
Yeah.
Which hit me so hard. And
Me
I was
too.
like, whoa, I wonder what... I mean, I'm sure there were many of them, but self-loathing is a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it can make you do things where you're self-sabotaging constantly.
Yeah.
Or you had said this, that you were choosing girlfriends that you actively knew weren't for you because you hate yourself so much that you think that's what you deserve.
Yeah.
And you need some kind of punishment.
Yeah. Pain.
Yeah.
It's like cutting yourself, but with a person. Mm-hmm. Just like the insanity and the drama of being involved in a toxic situation is like, it's like something to do.
Yeah.
It's something to talk to people about. Mm-hmm. Makes you feel interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of gives you like the worst, I never wanted to be boring. Now all I want to be is boring.
Yeah.
I want to be boring because I know that no matter how hard I try to be boring, I'm not going to be because life is going to continue happening. Mm-hmm. I just don't create shitstorms in my life anymore.
Yeah.
Consciously or subconsciously.
Yeah.
I try not to.
I feel like I've matured a little bit since Nanny's passing. Like,
yeah, sure.
Like, I feel like I instantly started being like the woman of the house and like, like cleaning up after people and feeding people and then like just not feeding into drama as much because I'm like, it's just not worth the energy. And my dad used to say all the time, he's like, you need to stop living from a 10 to a 1. You have to start trying to live at a 5.
Yeah.
And I feel like a person who doesn't think they're interesting or just like is really unhappy is always wanting to ping pong because it seems so much more interesting.
Yeah, it's very seductive to have something to talk about all the time. Mm-hmm. I remember working at this restaurant and I never understood why people gossiped.
Yeah.
I just didn't get it. Like I understand the part about wanting to cut somebody down so that you feel superior to them. That I totally understand.
Yeah. Schadenfreude too.
Yeah. But I watched it happen once and it became so clear to me that these people don't feel important. So this kid walked into the restaurant and he was like so excited. Mm-hmm. He was gay, so he was like a little bit, flamboyant about it. He walked in, he was like, said to his gossip buddy, "You are never going to guess what happened." Mm-hmm. The girls immediately, "What happened? I can't tell you. And starts walking away. So he's got her hooked. Yeah. And he just wants to feel desired.
Chemical.
For a second. Yeah, you could tell he was like high on gossip.
Yeah.
And then eventually he told her what happened. I don't remember what it was. But then they both...
It wasn't even that exciting.
It was...
Have you ever had that moment? Like, I guess you don't even love gossip, but like when somebody says, "Guess what?"
Yeah.
And then in your head, you fill it in. You get so excited or scared or whatever the emotion from the thing that you think it is that you don't even remember what the thing actually is that they said. And then you're just like, oh.
Yeah, it's not that exciting.
It's not that exciting. But then you still have that feeling of like, ah.
If somebody says, "Guess what?" to me, my first instinct is no.
No?
No, I'm not going to guess.
Oh.
That's annoying. Guess what?
Yeah, no.
There's infinite possibilities. Where do I begin?
My first one is, who hates me? Who said something about me? What did I do?
That may, I don't know. I guess I also just don't feel like I'm that important that a guess what would be directly related to me right away.
Interesting.
Yeah. Or I just would be surprised if it was. Like I had a guess what happened before, and it actually was kind of like, I jokingly, my business partner goes, "Oh my God, come here." And I thought he was kidding, so I ran in like an idiot. I was like, "Oh my God, what happened?" Yeah. He's like, "No, seriously, you should have run in like that." So I run in, and he goes, he got an email from You know the show The Prophet, Marcus Lemonis?
Yeah.
So we did something with them for A-Rod's new show.
Cool.
Back in the game. So it was A-Rod and Evander Holyfield in our office asking us for branding help for one of Evander's products. Like Evander Holyfield is not bankrupt, but he made like $200 million in his career and he has like nothing left.
Did you get anything for that a year?
No.
Nothing.
Just a good story.
So, see? What's that worth? Nothing. Just
Couple
a little
million.
adrenaline from some kid in a store.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah. Mike Tyson did Evander Holyfield can't hear.
Yeah.
So we helped him with that, and then they liked what we did, so they wrote us for The Prophet, and it was like, that was exciting.
Yeah.
But I'm also almost 40. Like, it takes a lot for me to get excited. Not because I'm, like, a nihilist, just because, like, I've been excited. It's not that great.
Interesting.
It's not that, like, it's not the end-all, be-all to me anymore.
But I feel like you are happier in general.
I'm content.
Now. Yeah,
I live at a 5.
You live at a 5.
Yeah. And because I live at a 5, I'm comfortable there.
Yeah.
And if something great happens, it brings me up to a 5.5. And if something terrible happens, it brings me down to a 4.5.
It's very healthy.
Because the 10s and the 1s,
it's not attainable again.
It's
heroin.
It also doesn't feel good. A 10 requires an adrenaline response.
Yeah.
Which is, in my opinion, a negative.
Yeah.
Not that I want to like flatline and be dead, just like I want waves, and I got waves.
Yeah.
I got waves now.
Yeah.
I'm a wavy boy.
Wavy boy.
Yeah.
Instead of like, beep, beep,
Yeah.
beep. Like, what's that thing? The heart monitor when people are dying?
Yeah. With the EKG.
EKG.
No, that's not what it is.
I don't care.
The MRI, the vaccination shot.
I don't know. So your new book is coming out.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Of course. It is called Go to Bed Angry.
Yes.
And it is a roadmap from codependency to healthy, committed relationship.
How did you know that?
Because I do my research.
It's a roadmap.
A roadmap.
Who needs a roadmap anymore?
I mean, a lot of people.
We have GPS.
Okay, not that anybody is ever going to follow your exact journey. And
Yeah.
that's what I always say about this
not.
podcast is like, yeah, maybe some of the things that I say will inspire you, and I hope that they do, but don't expect it to be exactly like me because you're not me.
Yeah.
You know, and don't expect my traumas when I unlock them on here to unlock yours. They're not yours.
Yeah.
You know, like go to therapy if you need that and whatever. But a roadmap or just showing people how you've done your thing is very nice because it shows a sense of normalcy.
Yeah.
That it's like, look, I can be this massive meme god and I've gone through some serious shit.
Yeah, I think people, when they discover you, at whatever point they discover you, they think you've always been that way. And that is also, I'm not trying to insult people, but it is immature to think that way because you have to realize at some point that everyone has had a life up to the point that you met them. My son, this is so funny. I was trying to explain to him, I'm so enamored with my kids. I can't believe the fact that I'm a father.
Yeah. Wait, there's another kid?
I have 2, yeah. I have a 13-year-old stepdaughter, and then I have a 6-year-old son and a 2-year-old son.
Oh, cute.
And I can understand that I have kids, but I still have a hard time accepting that I am their dad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm it for them.
Yeah.
If I die today, or I live forever, every memory they ever have of being with their father will be with me, which is crazy.
I know.
So I said to my son the other day, I was like, I can't believe I'm your dad. I'm so lucky to be your dad. I feel so happy that you're my son.
Yeah.
He's like, I was like, do you know that I had a whole life before you, that I was a little boy once and I had a dad and I grew up with a dad and and he's still my dad? He's like, yeah, I know, Grandpa. So,
but you're like, you don't get it.
No, you
I
don't.
was literally thinking about this morning. I was like at my boyfriend's house and I was thinking about my mom telling me stories about boyfriends that she had when she was younger. And I was like, I wonder how she could have explained it better to me that she actually existed then.
She couldn't have.
She couldn't have. She tried so hard to tell me all the stories and tell me that she was 6 years old at one point and she was a baby at some point. And I was just like, sure.
Yeah, no, it seems made up.
Like kind of. But that's a Freudian thing. It's like a step in development when you realize that your parents are people.
Yeah.
Not just parents.
Yeah.
So he's not there yet.
No, he's not there yet.
He's not
And
gonna get
I'm
that.
fine with it because I think it's cute because after all of that, I said, do you realize that mommy had a whole life before you were born too? Like we both had mommy had a whole life before we even met, and so did I.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, he's like, you met when I was born. And I was like, no, we met at least 9 months before you were born, dude. He just wasn't getting it.
Is that how quick it was?
No, but
I
it
know
was
you
pretty
guys
quick.
got married quick.
We got married within 6 months of starting to date each other.
So cute.
Yeah.
And no proposal.
No proposal, barely a wedding.
I love that.
We got married on a Tuesday night
I
on a
love
beach in Islip.
People are so consumed with like, how did you do it?
Yeah, no.
How did you do it?
We were literally on the phone and she had mentioned to me about getting married a few times and I was like, all right, I think,
Yeah.
I think you're right. We should probably get married because it was just like enough already with all the dating and all the hoopla and everything.
You guys were just like, yeah, no, we found each other.
Yeah, we're good.
This sounds like a good idea.
I want to build my life with you.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be a good wife. I think you're going to be a good mom.
And I want to start it instead
wanna
of
find out-
hiring engagement
Oh,
photographers.
fuck that.
Yeah.
Forget that. There was she had already been married once before.
Okay.
Which was good.
Yeah.
Because they had a big, huge wedding. Mm-hmm. And she knew that was not where it was at. I had already had a few things in my life. I had already attained a few things.
Yeah.
That I thought were going to be really important and monumental, and I found out that they weren't. I also worked in the wedding, bar mitzvah, sweet 16 industry for years, and I always
Amazing.
Yeah.
What were you? An
dancer.
MC or a dancer? Shut up.
Yeah, I was a bar
Oh
mitzvah
my God.
dancer.
We have to do a Patreon for all the moves that
Sure.
I know all of the
The
moves.
lineup?
Yes.
That was the worst part of the job for me. I hated it so
I
much.
loved it. My dad actually had one of the bar mitzvah dancers who was like on the circuit in the city come over and teach one of my brothers. So
What was
he
his
wouldn't
name?
be like awkward. No, her name was Krista.
Krista.
She worked for Tommy Kaufman.
That's who I worked
Tommy
for.
Kaufman? Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
So funny.
You weren't
He
at my
paid
bar
well.
mitzvah.
I started with him in like 2004, maybe 2005.
Wait, is that how you met your wife?
No.
Okay.
No. She's not a dancer.
She was at a bar mitzvah.
No.
I was there making the little girls dance.
No. She used to work with my sister, and I
Cute.
just was like, wow, this woman's beautiful.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe how hot she was.
So cute.
Then she got pregnant, and I was like, okay. You're off the
See,
off
he
the
can
roster.
say that as a joke because I know it's so untrue. It was after we're cool. We've been friendly, but it wasn't until I did your podcast that I was like, this man has extreme empathy.
Yeah.
Like you really, and I know that you're raised by women, you get women, but you just see us as the same.
Yeah.
Respected
People. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It's really
I
nice.
didn't think she was unattractive when she was pregnant. I just thought she was like off the possibility list.
Oh,
was
pregnant with somebody else's
Oh
kid.
yeah. When she was working
lol.
with my sister.
Okay.
She was pregnant. I was like, oh.
Oh,
I
so
guess
you'd known her
that's-
for a really long time.
Yes.
You would have known her for 13 years at least because her daughter is 13.
Yeah. But we've been married for 8. Mm-hmm. I met her like 10 years before we started dating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a long time to just forget about somebody.
Yeah.
I completely forgot she existed until she commented on my Facebook post.
Oh my God.
I was like, who the hell is Jessica Howard? And then I clicked on the picture and I was like,
What was the post?
It was when I was living in California, this guy Peter that I became very friendly with used to on his off day like offer him. He had a pickup truck, so he would say like, if anybody needs help with anything, moving, a ride somewhere, whatever. Because we were in recovery over there, and a lot of people were like unable to do anything.
Okay.
So he would just say, if anybody needs anything today, just let me know. I'm off. I'm available. Mm-hmm. That was his way of like giving back. So I did
Were you
something.
living in like a recovery
No.
village,
I was
or-
already sober like 7 years when I moved out there. That's what everyone thought when I moved out there. They were like, "Oh, you came because I had good sobriety at the time,"
Mm-hmm.
and people would be like, "Man, you sound really good
Yeah.
for having like 2 days clean."
Yeah. And
But
you're
then-
like, no, I'm just here.
Yeah, I've been sober for 7 years.
Okay.
It's funny. There's like a joke that if somebody asks, like if you share and then somebody, like the speaker goes, "Do you have a sponsor?" Like you should just kill yourself. Because that means you said something so wild.
Yeah, that they were like, you need help.
Do you have a sponsor?
Yeah.
Are you new?
We've
I've been sober
heard
for 12 years.
crazy shit in here, and we're concerned.
Yeah, you should talk to somebody after the meeting. Don't
Yeah.
leave.
Don't leave. Okay, so you're out there.
Yeah.
you have the guy who's got the trucking jobs.
No, yeah, he just had a truck.
He had a truck.
Yeah.
We're leading to the Facebook post.
Leading to the Facebook post. I wrote, if anybody needs anything today, I'm off. She commented, joking, can you pick up my dry cleaning? I need an oil change, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, who's this? And then I guess it was her sense of humor also that intrigued me.
Yeah.
And then I clicked on her and I was like, oh my God, I completely forgot she existed.
At that point, were you already memeing?
No, I was selling fence still. Totally.
Fence.
I had a video blog and other blogs by that time.
Okay.
I was always like, I always had to have some kind of creative outlet.
Yeah.
I liked writing. I liked talking. I figured I had been through some things in my life that I thought would be beneficial to people, so I wanted to share that.
Yeah.
Because I had been reached by people who shared openly and honestly about their life. That's why this book, The Roadmap, is like, it's not a, I don't want to be so arrogant as to say this is the way to do it.
No, this was mine.
It's the way I did it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many people transform.
My way.
Yes.
Get
Frank
it?
Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra's
I
Tank
do.
Sinatra because he's got blue eyes.
Thank you. And he's tanky.
And he's tanky.
He's pretty big.
Yeah.
Your grandmother said so. So I've seen a lot of people change over the years in my life. I'm almost 40. So I've seen a lot of people change. And I get so frustrated when somebody changes. They go from point A to point B and they forgot how they did it. So they can't help anybody do that. Not only that, once they get to point B, they look back at people at point A and they judge them like they're some kind of loser.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you were just that person 2 years ago.
I remember, this is so petty and stupid, but
Let's hear it. I love it.
there is a lady comics group on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
And there was a year when Mindy Tucker, who's like a great comedy photographer, was offering free headshots for any lady comic in the city.
Uh-huh.
And so we are all getting excited in the group. I had just started. I was an open micer, but whatever. I was doing comedy. I was trying to get my reps in.
Yeah.
And one girl in the group commented, I see a lot of open micers are attending or like replied attending. Like, do we not have a cap on who can attend this? And I'm like, fuck you. You used to be an open micer.
Yeah.
Like, this was you literally 2 years ago, and now you're cool because you got one club spot. Meanwhile, I don't see that person get booked at all
I was just going to
anymore.
say, there's no way that person is still working.
Nope.
There's so many comics, you can't be a dick and make it. Mm-hmm. You can't. Nobody's that funny.
Yeah.
Nobody's funny enough to overshadow a bad personality, especially in a scene where relationships...
It's all hanging out.
It's all hanging out and being nice to people,
Yeah.
which I like anyway. I wouldn't be rude to people if I could. It's not like a power thing.
Yeah.
It's just the way I like to operate. I like to be as nice as possible. I'm not perfect, and I've had my moments, but I do try hard to make sure that people feel comfortable around me and loved and appreciated.
Yeah. Have you always been that way?
I've always wanted to. I've gotten better at it over the years.
Yeah.
I wasn't so good at it.
I feel like I'm trying to be more that way now, especially post Nan, because
Yeah.
she was so effusive and made everybody feel like the most important person in the room.
Yeah.
And I feel like most of my life I was so shy, but also like assuming that people were judging me. And that's not what they're doing. They're kind of judging themselves. So like people just want you to like kind of open up and be nice to them or whatever. Whereas I would just kind of be like, ugh, like they think I'm weird. And I thought the way to maybe impress someone was to be like aloof.
Yeah.
And be like, oh no, I don't care about you. Nobody likes that.
No.
Everybody wants to be engaged and feel like they're cared about.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really take that much more energy. It actually takes less energy.
Yeah.
Because then you're not wondering like, oh, do they think I'm cool?
Oh, the wondering
do they...
is the worst.
Yeah.
It eats up. I've had a couple of experiences in my life where I broke the ice and it paid off big time.
So much.
Yeah. I remember being in orientation at Nassau Community College.
Yeah.
And I was put in a group of 10 to 12 people, and they had the person leading the charge, and nobody was talking.
Yeah.
For like the first 5 minutes. Everyone was just walking silently, nervous. And I was like, I wish somebody would have told me I was going to get put in the no talking group or something like that.
Yeah.
And a kid came up behind me, tapped me on the shoulder. He's like, what's up, bro? I'm John. Like immediately.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Connection.
And he was like, I'm so glad you said that. That was really awkward and tense. And then everybody started laughing and everybody started talking.
That's so nice.
But it sucked for me to have to do that.
Yeah.
But it was like one of those leap of faith things where I was like, I'm just going to, if it bombs, it bombs. It can't bomb worse than this whole thing is already bombing. We've hit rock bottom here.
When I was in college, I was hooking up with this guy, and this other girl who lived on my floor was also hooking up with this guy.
Oh, boy.
And we had a mutual friend who would tell both of us, she'd be like, she's hooking up with da-da-da, and you're hooking up with da-da-da, and he does this with you, and he does this with her, and he does da-da-da, whatever. And so I know about this girl, and I'm like, oh, I think she hates me. Like, she must hate me. Like, I don't really love the idea of her. And we were at the elevator one day, both high as fuck. I didn't know she was high. She didn't know I was high. But we were both standing next to each other being like, this girl hates me.
Yeah.
This girl hates me. But I had stopped hooking up with him at that point, so I didn't really care. And I thought I had heard that she did too. And I go, hey, I'm Remy. You want to talk about it? And she's like, yes, I don't even like him. And I was like, me neither. No, me neither. I would never say me neither. I hate that's a big pet peeve. But
wait, what did you say wrong?
Mean either. I hate when people say that.
What does mean either?
It's nothing. It's me neither. But some people will say mean either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. Ugh. But I was like, anyway, I was like, I don't care about him either. And then we went back to her house. We smoked a bunch of weed. We became like best friends until like 5 a.m. It's great.
And then that was it?
Yeah, it was just breaking the ice.
Yeah.
Got to break the ice, guys.
People are, I think, for the most part, uncomfortable. And if you can get through that at a cocktail party, at a networking event, in an elevator, whatever.
Yeah.
I decided today I'm going to start walking into elevator and saying, hello, how are you?
I do that.
I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to start.
I started doing it in this building because Nanny was like looking for friends for a while.
Yeah.
And anytime I'd see a woman who like kind of looked with it and stuff, I'd be like, hey, you want to come to my house and meet my grandma?
Matchmaking.
Yeah. And then she'd be like, oh, who's your grandma? I'd be like, Pauline. She'd be like, I love Pauline. I know her.
That's so funny.
Yeah. But so the book, it starts with a very sad story. How do I know this? Research.
Okay.
But about you in 6th grade.
This is pretty sad.
It's a pretty sad story.
Fucking bitch.
No, this is mean.
She had a tremendously negative effect on my life.
I'm sure.
So I was a chubby kid, but I was nice and I was funny. I had already developed humor at that point because I was fat and that's all I had to lean on. I wasn't fat, like you wouldn't look at me and be like, wow, your parents should be in jail. But I was like, I had boobs and I didn't want to do shirts versus skins. I didn't want to go in the pool.
Yeah. You wouldn't think that you sitting here would have come from.
Well, I'm glad I was a fat kid because it turned me into a fit adult.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people who had a good metabolism when they were younger are totally out of shape now, and they're never going to get out of it because they don't have the foundation that you have to build when you're young.
Totally.
To be able to sustain this. So, yeah, I was a chubby kid, but nice and very, very sensitive. And I liked girls.
Yeah.
So there was this girl that was like the cutest girl in the whole school, at least the grade, I thought.
Yeah.
And I heard that she liked me. And I was like, no way. There's no way this girl likes me. And this kid was like, no, she does. I was like, maybe she's the one who sees through the chub.
Yeah.
You know? Even back then, I was like, maybe she sees me for who I am.
Yeah.
And I realize now saying that's probably why it hurt so much because what happened later. Yeah. So I said in 6th grade.
Because you really let it down. You were like, oh, this is exciting.
Yeah, she likes me for who I am.
This is my moment.
Yeah, she sees me.
It's me.
Yeah. My arriving party.
I'm nude. Here I am.
Almost.
Yeah.
So I had this guy ask her out for me because that's what you did in 6th grade.
Sure.
Will you go out with George?
Yeah.
So he goes over to her and I'm like close enough to hear what's happening, but like pretending I'm not listening. And he goes, hey, do you want to go out with George? And she looks up, she goes, what? Like she knew who I was and she knows what these words mean, but like the concept to her was so foreign that she was like, sorry, say that again?
Yeah.
Do you want to go out with George?
George
who?
Ooh.
George Resch. George Resch? I'm not going out with that fat fucking piece of. And she was in 6th grade, and I heard it, and I watched, and then he came over to me. He's like, he like shook his head. I was like, I know, I heard, and everybody heard.
Yeah.
So it was mortifying, and then that happened later, like another year later, much smaller scale, but these 2 girls on my block. I was walking down the street. I forgot where I was going, but the 2 girls were like, hey, like come talk to us. And I knew who they were, but I wasn't going to stop and talk to them unless they said that. So they started messing with me. And the one girl was like, my friend thinks you're cute. And she was like, her friend was like looking down and pretending to be shy. And I was like, all right, so what do we do? She's like, I'm kidding. I'm not going out with you. You're disgusting.
What the fuck?
And I was like, what? Again? And I just walked away. And I still kind of don't like that girl. I'm sure she's, whatever. She's not doing fine.
She's probably learned. I mean, it was a thing in society. Even when I was growing up,
she
I'm sure
has
it
3
was
million
worse.
followers on Instagram. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, fuck you, little bitch. But where being mean in a group, especially, was very chic.
Oh yeah,
and that was how you bonded with people.
Yeah,
I remember
so
even
mean.
like one of my siblings, like I could only bond with if we were making fun of the other ones.
Yeah,
and then I was like, wait, this is no way to be.
Yeah. We still do that with my mom a little bit.
Don't do that.
I mean, it's funny though.
Don't you do that. No, so you've been blessed with some really evil women and some really great women in your life.
Yeah. But that kind of set me up for how I felt about myself in regards to romantic relationships specifically. I was like, nobody's ever going to like me.
Yeah.
I'm disgusting. I'm gross. I'm just not going to put myself out there anymore. And then when I would let it down, I got hurt. Like I just got hurt a bunch of times all in a row. And when I finally lost weight and became like attractive to females or women or whatever, some men too, found out.
Yeah. Your look is good for the David Barton
they
gym.
Love it. They love it. It's so funny.
You look like two penises.
I've probably been hit on equally by an equal amount of men as women. Yeah. I just have a nice looking face too. I don't mean nice. I mean like I look like a nice person.
Yeah.
So they're like, I could suck this guy's dick.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
He'd let me. He looks like a nice guy.
He looks like a nice dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Mr. Clean, more like Mr. Peen.
Yeah, Mr. Clean Peen. When I lost weight, I kind of took advantage of that.
Yeah.
You know, and I like abused the ability to attract women, and I would, I had a cycle where I would build myself up emotionally, physically, mentally to the point where I'd be attractive to another person. And then as soon as I attracted that person, I would, not purposefully, but I would put all of my stock in what they thought of me.
Oh my God.
And then eventually when you neglect your physical, spiritual, emotional health, it's going to die.
Yeah.
And you wind up an incomplete person waiting for this person to feed you, and they can't feed you.
Yeah.
They're trying to feed themselves.
Have you ever read the book, My Missing Piece?
No.
Oh my God. It's a Shel Silverstein book, and it's all about this thing looking for its missing piece the entire time, and it finally finds a piece that fits in the hole, and they roll together for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they're just like, let's just separate.
Yeah.
It's not that that's like a perfect metaphor for anything, but no one's ever going to complete you.
No.
And you should never put that pressure on another person, because I've been that person before, where I'm just like waiting at home. I have no job. I'm like, okay, you've been out all day. Make me laugh.
Yeah.
What?
I actually talk about that in my book, the Jerry Maguire scene with You Complete Me. I just hate it so much. I think it's so toxic and destructive.
It's so bad. Imagine you put all your eggs into a basket of a person, and then something happens to them. They die.
Yeah.
They leave you. They intentionally leave you. Then you're nothing?
Yeah.
You're incomplete now?
You're nothing.
You're incomplete?
You don't exist. Yeah, it's
you
scary.
existed for 25 years or however many years before you met that person, and now you just don't exist.
I remember having very vividly thinking about, I used to wait for this girl to text me back.
Yeah.
And I used to wait hard. Nobody waited harder than me.
Yeah.
Just staring, waiting, And I remember I used to play little tricks with myself where I would like text her and then go in the shower for like 20 minutes so that I could just like not.
Yes.
And then I would be in the shower and I'd be thinking about whether or not, I thought I heard the phone go off. Was that it? Oh, was that her? And I remember vividly thinking I was 28 at the time. And I was like, what did you think about before you met this person? And then I remembered. Music.
Yeah.
So then I started, I kind of like woke back up. That was the first time I woke back up in a relationship before I lost the person. And then I kind of started to like separate. And then a whole bunch of stuff happened where, pieces fell, things that she had said. And I was just like, this was the last girl that I was ever going to date that had that same profile with just out of a relationship or at the tail end of a relationship. I was going to save her. I was going to show her what a real man was about. And then as soon as I got her, I become a huge problem for her.
Oh my God.
Just really bad. And I'm only saying this because I'm not that anymore.
Yeah.
And I know how to be both.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I probably couldn't be that guy again if I tried, but I know what it's like and I know the steps that people take. And when you're specific and honest, like there's a reason people liked Biggie because he like was specific about it, the stories he told, and you could tell that he really did the things that he was talking about.
The murders.
Yeah, like he really was not a great guy.
He was really specific about the people he killed. He said all the names.
Like he knew like how to describe the vibe of walking into a crack house in a way that like he was not only a great storyteller, but he lived it and you could tell. So the whole point of the book is that like I really lived it. The book actually opens up with that story, but then goes into fast forward 15 years. I'm with a woman, I'm dating this woman who I'm sure is going to leave me at any moment. And to avoid that happening, I book a vacation for like 6 months out so that she has to stay with me for at least 6 months.
Oh my God.
That was like a contract that we signed together. Even though it wasn't, it was like in my mind, it was like, you know.
What's she going to do?
I mean, you hate me, but you hate me more than you love St. Martin?
Yeah.
Because you're not going if we break up.
Yeah.
I am.
That is so manipulative.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've all.
What a great idea.
It's interesting that was your type because that is like a very destructive type, like person who like needs to be saved or whatever. I feel like me and a lot of the people that I'm friends with, we would choose the same type of guy, which was emotionally unavailable.
Yep.
Had hooked up with all of your friends, and has never been in a relationship and doesn't want to be in one.
That's who you want to be in a relationship
That's who
with.
I would want to be, because I was like, yeah, give me a fucking challenge. Also, I know that I'll never achieve the challenge.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what I deserve.
Yeah.
It's that self-loathing thing of like, what's the worst thing I can do to myself for the next 4 years?
And the worst thing is you don't realize that you're choosing it.
Right.
Because that subconscious self-loathing is actually driving the truck or the car or whatever, and you're just along for the ride, and you think,
Andy's hot.
I like bad boys.
Yeah.
Or I like girls who need help.
Yeah.
Even though they don't, not one of them asked for
help.
it.
Yeah.
Not only did they not need it, they didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
I just charmed my way in and was like, here's what it looks like. Here's what happiness looks like.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this is what, codependency looks like. And abandonment.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that was a thing until...
Well, I think a massive thing with codependency, too, is working on the other person.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to work on yourself.
Yeah. Point out their flaws.
That's really... Point out their flaws, but also, like, if this is a work in progress, this is a guy who's never been nailed down, that's my project.
Yeah.
I'm making you a monogamous guy.
Yeah.
I'm fixing you to mold you into society. And I've had those times and then you're kind of absolved of working on yourself, but then at the end of the relationship or in the next relationship, you realize, oh, fuck, my issues are still here.
Yeah, I'm going to focus on their issues.
Yeah. You left your socks on the floor.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I have a medical disorder.
That's the problem.
But you left the rice out last night.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
The problem is people don't know how to be.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying other people, I'm saying me as well. Like, it's just very hard to be who you are.
Yeah.
That's why, like, be yourself is comically bad advice.
Do you think?
Who am I? Be myself?
Well,
who is myself? I don't even know who I am.
Here's the thing I think is good about be yourself.
I'm trying.
Is like, in dating, I feel like I'd always try to be,
oh, yeah, okay.
Like the person that everybody wanted.
Yeah.
The girl that like, that generic people like, that everybody, whatever. But then you're lying, and then once you get in the relationship with them, they're like, oh, fuck, you're disgusting.
I can't keep up this facade.
Yeah, and then they don't even like real you.
Yeah. No, okay, so that I understand.
Yeah.
I was thinking more along the lines of like, myself is always changing and evolving, so it's like hard for me to be myself in my final form because I don't want to. I want to keep changing and getting better. Mm-hmm. Because
that Pokemon we were talking about, Charmander.
I don't know how long I have to live, and I want to pursue progress until I can't anymore, until I die.
Yeah.
Because perfection is not realistic, but it's the direction that I'm going in. But I only, like I said, like I've had a few moments in my life where I felt like everything was exactly the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I know that intellectually, but it's different to know. It's different to feel it than knowing it. Like knowing it is like, yes, okay, something goes wrong. That's what was supposed to happen. I feel that. But sometimes it's like, there's been a few times that I can actually remember, maybe like 10 times in my life, which I think is a lot, where I've been like, okay, this is what's happening and I'm totally fine with it.
What are the books that you read about spirituality now? Like, where do you get your...
I really like... So, do you know who Ryan Holiday is? He writes Stoic philosophy books. So he wrote a book called The Obstacle is the Way, The Ego is the Enemy, Stillness is the Key. He writes The Daily Stoic, which is an email every day. He has a Daily Stoic book. So the Stoic philosophers were Epictetus, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, who was the guy in Gladiator, the emperor. And Seneca or Epictetus was a slave. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor. People from different areas, different walks of life, different, castes back then, struggling with the same things. Kind of like that woman in Eat, Pray, Love said, where she went to like all these... Did you see that movie?
I did.
So I thought that was...
The subtitles of that movie are so racist.
Are they?
Yeah, they like spell out when people mispronounce words.
Oh, that's funny.
It's so rude. I watched it at a dry bar because everything's got subtitles because they've got hair dryers on. You don't know.
Oh, I know what a dry bar
You're
is.
bald.
Yeah. No, I know what I go to the moisturizing bar.
I go to the wet bar.
So they, she says in that movie, like I found myself going to these different villages and these girls who had no food, no water, no nothing, were complaining about the boys that they were dating. So it's like, it's all the same shit that we're dealing with. So Stoic philosophers, their manuscripts or whatever have survived thousands of years, and he takes what they wrote and applies it to modern problems, which I think is really helpful and interesting.
Sure.
That's spirituality in the sense of like, you're here, so you might as well act a certain way because when you act a certain way, you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
But I also I love Eckhart Tolle and I love Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote Conversations with God.
Yeah.
I like Emmett Fox.
I've never read any of these.
Emmett Fox is Christian, but he takes the Christianity out of Christianity.
Cool.
And he gives you like the real...
Just the nice, good stuff.
Yes. He talks about the Our Father.
Yeah.
And how he says... Are we good with that?
I mean, someone's dying, and it's okay.
And it's not us. Yeah, so we're good. So he said something along the lines of like, most Christians, if they were honest with how they felt about the world and its people, should be choking on the first two words of the Our Father. Because that first word, our, means our.
Our. Yeah.
Not your and the people that think the same as you.
Yeah.
Our.
Yeah.
So that's what hooked me on him, because I was like, this guy gets it. This guy understands it. Because I think that connection to something bigger than you is important, whether that is nature or it is science and you're an atheist and you're in awe of the scientific community or whatever it is. Awe is an important part of progressing as a human and making sure that you stay connected to the stuff that's not,
appreciating and giving back is like abundance, right?
Yeah.
And abundance makes you really happy. And I was I started to read How to Win Friends and Influence People.
That's the first one I read.
Really?
Yeah.
And I was kind of laughing at it because I was like, this is just gamifying yourself into being a good person.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of tricking yourself. You're like, yeah, my life's going to be better because I'm going to be nicer.
But then you start feeling better.
You start feeling better because you are nicer. And it's like when people say, oh, you do charity to make yourself feel better. It's like, well, but then is it really like, is it worth it? Yeah, because they're benefiting and you're benefiting.
Yeah.
And there is there's something behind it that like, it takes less muscles to smile than it does to frown.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you've done really like cool work with Tank's Good News.
Yeah.
Is like, the internet is a horrible place. It can be a horrible place for your mentality, for your significant other and what they have to deal with, what you know about their exes. I'll surprise Ben every day with, I'm like, hey, your ex lives in da-da-da. He's like, why do you know that? I'm like, you know why.
Yeah.
Because I'm crazy. But you've put together just this entire account platform where you share good news.
Yeah.
How has that changed your life?
I mean, it's had a really positive effect on my life. I always sought out the positive, like deliberately though.
Yeah.
So I have this theory. It's not really a theory. It's just like there are people who are grateful. There's people who are angry. There's people who are impatient. There's people who are all kinds of different things. So let's say your defining characteristic is anger because you were raised by angry people to be angry.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of angry all the time. What you're going to do to justify that internal feeling is look outside of you for things that you can point to when someone says, "Why are you so pissed off? Oh, didn't you see what Trump said today?
Yeah.
Didn't you see what happened in the south coast of Australia today? That's why I'm angry." When really, the only reason that thing stuck out to you is because you're already angry and you're just gravitating towards that. So
it was the straw that broke the anger's back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was kind of angry growing up, and I realized that this was before Google, before you could find anything you wanted on the internet. I said, you're going to find what you seek in life, in people, in experiences, whatever. So I'm going to seek out the best because I want to experience the best. I don't want to find out what went wrong today.
Yeah.
I even remember watching news as a kid and being like, why are they telling us this?
Yeah. Here's all the bad shit in one place.
Rape, kidnapping, murder, fires, earth. It's like
now the weather.
Just in case you weren't scared enough.
You still want to go outside.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that bad things happen.
Yeah,
and I also understand that human beings have a tendency to want to do someone a favor and say, "Hey, that vaccination your kid got could cause this disease. So just in case you're going to do it, I want." A clear conscience that I did everything I could to help save your kid, right? So they really do think they're doing each other a favor. And I think the news as it exists today is a combination of that human impulse, but also humans responding to it. So when you have bad news and people tune in and stay tuned in, you can sell more advertising.
Yeah.
You can get a higher price because you have more viewers. So all they figured out was that if you cause a visceral reaction in human beings, they will stay tuned. They never considered that there was a other end of the spectrum of visceral reaction, which was joy and gratitude and
cat
hope.
videos.
Yes, well, cat videos are a little neutral.
Yeah,
but people come to my page and like a lot of times they cry because they're like, I can't believe I missed all this over the last 6 months.
I love that story of the roofer.
Yeah,
I think it was in Australia or New Zealand or something like that. It's an old woman. It was an old grandma. Yeah. And this guy finished her roof and lied to her and said the insurance company had taken care of it or whatever just because he wanted to do it for free.
Yeah.
And it's so nice. And that really is there. Yeah, you could prickle up and go, ah, or you could go, oh.
Yeah, wouldn't you rather go,
this is so nice.
They're both the same thing.
Yeah. It's still a release or a catharsis of some way, but it doesn't grate you as much. It doesn't leave you with that ancillary anger for other people throughout the rest of the day. Yeah. Because then you go into the rest of your day being like, everyone is a bad person.
This world sucks.
This world sucks.
Yeah.
And your news makes you go about your day a little nicer. It's good.
And it really changed for me a couple of weeks into it when people started sending me good news that they had found. So I was like, at that point, first the page grew rapidly.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe there is maybe
something
people do want
this.
this. Maybe there is a market for this stuff, even though it seems, if you look at the news, like all people want is school shootings and Trump. So once people started sending me news stories that they found, then the ripple effect had taken hold. And I was like, I feel like at that point I could have shut the page down and been like, I've done my job.
Yeah, you're paying it forward.
But I kept it going.
I
kept it going, obviously. And people send me good news stories all the time, which means that not only are they getting a little bit of hope and healing feeling when they come to the page, but they're turning around from their phone and going out into the world and looking for
spreading
it in their own life.
Yeah. That was
a major turning point.
Yeah, that's so nice. I kind of feel that way about this podcast too. That I'm like, in the first few, or not few, but maybe the first 15 episodes, I think I really rounded everything out. I was like, this is what I've learned about sex and about what you should feel. Or
we haven't talked about sex once.
I know, we will.
Oh, okay.
I know, we will. We have 20 minutes. I know, it's so bad. I got so off topic. I'll have you back. I'll have to edit this.
We'll do part 2.
Yeah. But that's what I feel about with this podcast is that if somebody figures out how to come because they figured out how I can come, and then they tell their friend about a toy that made me come, that made them come, that made the other, and then all these women
everywhere.
Are coming all over the world and I've not even touched anyone. How wonderful is that?
Well, define touched.
No, but yeah. Touched by a meme account. Touched
You have.
by yeah.
A cat.
Touched by a cat. Yeah. Anyway, so sex. We got to talk about sex. I kind of already know how you feel about it. I know you're an empathetic. You're very giving. You do all the right stuff. You go down on the lady. You care about her coming. Was this because you were raised by women?
Probably. I think it's because I was so grateful to be having sex that I was just like, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure this happens a second time.
Yeah. I want to be back here.
Yeah, I want to be back.
Do you remember the first time you ever came?
I remember the first couple of times.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know if I remember the first time.
Around what age were we?
Like 12 or 13.
Loving your body, hating your body?
Oh, hating it.
Hating it.
Oh, hating it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had learned about it from older friends.
Okay.
Who just kind of like jokingly talked about it, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What happens?
Yeah.
They were like, you just pull on your dick, and it feels good. And then it feels really good. And then it feels bad. No, they didn't say and then it feels bad, but that's ultimately what wound up happening.
Yeah. So the first comes. Were they
They were enough to keep me going. Yeah.
Were they exciting? Or
I don't remember if they were like, they weren't. I didn't like dive right into it. Took me a few years to like become one of those. I think the most times I masturbated in one day was like 4 or 5, 6 maybe.
Cool.
But it was like too much.
Not for me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was too much for me to do it that much.
Yeah.
Just I had it was like a Saturday or a Sunday. I definitely didn't have school. And maybe nobody was home. And I was just like, I'm going to do this all day long.
Yeah.
But I'm an addict also.
Totally.
You know, so it was like anything that makes me feel good, that's not too hard, I'll do that.
Yeah.
If it's hard and it doesn't make me feel that good, I don't want to do it. Like if it takes a long time.
So you jack off when you're soft? No, I'm just kidding.
No. I mean, I have.
I'm just kidding.
And I really hate myself.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Like one of those water toys with the glitter in it. Ooh.
Can I tell a funny sex story on here?
Yeah.
It's not mine, though.
Okay.
It's just the funniest sex story I've ever heard in my life.
That's great.
So there was this guy who I was friends with who was in recovery, and he moved into this other guy's house who was also in recovery.
Okay.
The danger of doing that is that one of you might pick up and start doing drugs again. Then you have to live with an active drug addict.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. The other guy picked up. And at first he was just drinking. Then he started drinking and doing cocaine. Then he started drinking, doing cocaine, meeting girls at the bars and taking them back to his apartment. Then he started drinking, doing cocaine, bringing the girls back to the apartment, but doing too much cocaine. So this is when my friend enters the picture. And he couldn't have sex with these girls, so he starts waking this guy up to have sex with them so he can just watch.
Oh, my God.
So he, after like, I don't know, a few weeks of this, he was like starting to repeat the girls, and my friend was like, it's 2 a.m. He's sober. He does not want to wake up and have sex with this girl you met at a bar who's probably not even like attractive. So then it goes to professionals, right?
Yeah.
So he can't meet girls anymore, so he starts hiring girls. So imagine paying for a girl to have sex with you, but then not having sex with her. So anyway, this cocaine soft penis thing.
Yeah.
This guy, this was the end of the whole movie. So the guy he wakes my friend up and he makes him go into the living room and start having sex with a girl. And then he gets up on the couch, but he's sitting up on the top of the couch with his feet on the seat. And he's like naked, legs spread, and he's pulling on his penis like this. Like reverse with 2 fingers.
Yeah.
Right? It's so gross. I'm sorry. I'm giving you a visual. But he's pulling on it and it's soft and he's watching him and he's like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So what they were doing was not like turning him on. He's like, all right. He's like, Ralph, put it in her ass. And the girl goes, Kevin, no. And he goes, okay, regular. And they just both got up and they were done. Like, okay, regular are the 2 funniest words I've ever heard put together.
Okay, regular.
Okay, regular.
I'll have 1 pizza in the ass and 1 pizza
No,
regular.
Kevin, no.
Kevin, no. Okay, regular.
Regular. That is like my nightmare.
That's
on
so
all 3
funny.
accounts.
Yeah. This has been so much fun.
Yeah.
We're going to have you back and talk more sexy sex. But I think this episode was
It was a good intro.
It's a good intro to you.
Yeah. They can listen to your episode on my podcast, the Think Tank podcast.
Yes, very fun.
If they want to hear about sex.
Yeah, we did talk a lot about sex on that.
And then Tank's Good News on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and then Tank Sinatra.
Amazing. Go get happy, you guys. You can always follow me at Remy Casimir. Follow the podcast at How Come Podcast. Go on YouTube, subscribe, watch all of the videos, get extras. Go to patreon.com/howcome. Everything is only $5 a month now. And yeah, Tank Sinatra / George. I have to ask this to everyone on this podcast and after a sexual experience, you know, as a courteous host.
Yeah.
Did you finish?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
And we'll see you next time on How Come.
Bye.
Bye.
It's not you, it's me. I try so hard to finish honestly. They say you'll know when you go all the way from A right down to O. Oh no, I think that I've still got a ways to go. Oh, I'm sick of this and I have got to know. How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz